If you've ever wanted to see the garden that I grew up in for the first 20 plus years of my life here in Michigan, grab a cup of coffee or a glass of old grapes and let's go for a walk through the garden. This is probably the most common view that I had growing up, is my mom in the garden with a basket, who hates being on social media because she's afraid the internet is going to steal her privacy faster than a tomato by a Japanese beetle. So the front yard of the house has always been a lot of natives, perennials, pretty much zero annuals the entire time that I was growing up. And it's funny because as the neighbors drive by or people walk through the neighborhood, they always stop and they turn and they look in my mom's garden. And it is fun for me because even coming back as an adult, some of the flowers like these daylilies are ones from my old house in Kansas City. So I was able to not only have, the enjoyment of these childhood blooms, but also add some from my young adult life when I lived in Kansas City back into my family garden, since they don't grow in Florida. Now coming into the backyard past the lilac tree that we would always get school pictures by when I was growing up, into the little garden gate. The backyard is just under an acre, about an acre. And that area in the back that you see there is where we used to have a swimming pool and now is just a nice sitting area. Of course, those of you that do homesteading, our family heats by wood all winter long. So I'll show you that pile in another video. And then the back area where the semi-woods are is where we would have tree forts and lots of adventures, pine cone fights growing up. Now, the old family garden used to extend right over there to that garden gate, but obviously now it's just mom and dad and the nieces and nephews and cousins and that sort of thing. But there's still quite a bit here in the garden. This year they're going to be going out west for a month and a half on a road trip, so they didn't do a whole lot of garden. The garden is just resting this year, but the raspberries are doing pretty incredible this season so far. And for those that are in the Patreon community, we just installed this generational garden, 3 fruit trees, about 6 or 8 berry bushes, some nitrogen fixers and all that good stuff. There's a full class on how to install a new food forest that'll be available in Patreon in the next week or so. And then coming here in the backyard, this was kind of the adventure area. A lot of berry bushes, jostaberry, honeyberry, currants and gooseberries, all the good stuff. And I would say this back area was probably my favorite just because of all of the berry bushes and the pawpaw. The pine tree in that back corner was from me when I planted it as a sapling in kindergarten. I mean, so many good memories. So that's our little family homestead here in mid-Michigan. I'm going to enjoy the rest of this cup of coffee and then, do 3 to 5 more refills. So as always, have fun and I will see you in the garden.